Here we go. Bring the thump. Happy New Year, you guys. MMT is live from the City of Angels with the best films of 2024. Hopefully you know what this is from. If you don't, damn, man. We got to get you to movies more often. There it is, the bottom of the screen. The Substance, from The Substance. It will appear on tonight's list. You know damn well it's going to appear. Come on. It better be on everybody's list. There's no room for negotiation on The Substance. Zero. I love the drop. Come in with your predictions. What do you expect to see on our top 10 films of 2024 with a couple of bonus selections and some honorable mentions? So there's a lot of stuff discussed tonight, even though I said this year's been terrible. I think it's been a really bad year. But we did find some gems. So get ready to go here on this New Year's Eve as we will flip it to 2025. Coming up here in about 40 minutes, we'll be live in New York City when they drop the ball and it's official. But here we go. Turn down. You're going to have to wait a little bit for The Substance. It's not going to be number 10. I mean, what, are you surprised? Of course you're not surprised. You know that I fawned all over that film. And it will be very near the top. Will it be number 1 is the question as we get ready to go here on this Tuesday night, New Year's Eve, live from the City of Angels. I do want to mention that if you're watching the stream on YouTube, after this is live and half of the stream disappears, it's because, like the worst of 2024 list, a lot of scenes are going to play tonight from my selections. So that ends up getting me in trouble with YouTube. And then I have to cut some of the stuff out. So if you're watching live, you're going to get to see all of it. That's the beauty of whenever we do this. We are always live from the City of Angels. And let's just get started with a film that I don't think you're going to be surprised to see on my best films of 2024. When you look at this film from just a pure entertainment standpoint, I don't think I had more fun watching a film this year than number 10, Deadpool and Wolverine. And this is the scene that I told you everybody was going to flip the fuck out about. Here it comes. Bye, title card.
There are 206 bones in the human body. 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. Here we go. Maximum effort. Okay, Peanut. Guess we're getting that team up after all. I'm doing this tonight. Probably gonna start a fight. No, this can't be right.
So this is one of the few movies that I went to see early. I went to the press screening. Menzel kind enough to invite me because Disney wasn't. And I was watching this and I was thinking to myself, audiences are going to lose it. They are going to adore this right here. And whether you do or not, to not be able to recognize that this was going to turn into possibly the biggest meme-worthy moment of any film in 2024 shows a real inability to gauge what works. And yes, I understand this is not a cinephilic film, but it is hilarious. It is smart. It is quick. And it was, again, as much fun as I've had in any film this year. So I'm not going to stand apart from this film. I'm going to absolutely stand up for this film and tell you that Deadpool Wolverine is one of the best films of the year, especially for what it is. Remember, whenever we evaluate one of these films, it's always about what is it trying to be, and does it serve the audience it's intending to serve? And by those standards, Deadpool and Wolverine is by far one of the best films of the year. There's so many great films, Friendly Pup. So many scenes in this film that are tremendous and hilarious. And you go back to all the iterations of Deadpool, and it's just Ryan Reynolds. And listen, I don't really care what you think of him because, again, that's not my deal. Is this: the guy is quick, the guy has great timing, and the guy knows what is funny. Okay. You could totally disagree with me, but I'm telling you, America and the world would tell you otherwise. This film, at what, $1.4 billion? I called it. Remember when I was the first guy that came out? This is going to be huge. Menzel's like, no, it won't. Good luck to you on that one. That's our number 10 film. By the way, we have 3 number 10s because I have so many other things that we have to get to here tonight. I want to try to squeeze as much in as possible. But Deadpool Wolverine kicks us off here tonight as we get ready to go to our number 10. And then there's another number 10. So you're getting 12 top 10 movies tonight. It's a bonus stream. And number 10, you're going to say, the other number 10, you're going to say, why wasn't this higher? I'll explain after we watch just a bit of Dune Part 2. So Timmy's going to ride the worm. Now, here's the issues that I have with this film. First of all, let's just start with the scene you're watching. When Chalamet is going to lasso the worm and ride the worm across the desert, shouldn't that be the first time that we see this happen in the film? Like, it should not be before, but guess what? We see other people riding the worms. Now, granted, I understand in one, but in this time around, it should be the very first time that you see this happen in the film from Denis. Should be now, right now, but it wasn't. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of things about Dune 2 that bug me. Now, from a technical standpoint, Dune 2's by far one of the best films of the year. It's Denis. He has to be a best director just for the achievement. But I will maintain for the remainder of time that Dune 1 is better than Dune 2 for so many reasons. But I think we go back to the stream. We talked about what makes 1 better than 2. You have Oscar Isaac. You have Momoa. You have more fun in the film. I think also the film is, remember, anytime you first visit a universe, it's going to be more of a marvel to digest than the second time we're there. And even though Austin Butler rocked in this film, certainly was worthy of a supporting actor consideration here, Dune 2 is only at number 10/11/12 of MMT's top 10/12 of 2024. Yes, everything's better than Anora. Everything that we're going to talk about tonight, everybody, is better than Anora. Our third and final number 10 film is also from Warner Brothers, as we bring up a film that a lot of you really slept on. You said, it bombed. That means it was bad. It's got a girl boss, so it's bad. No. You're wrong. Anyone who says Furiosa is not one of the best films of the year and our highest ranking number 10 film of 2024 is insane. Here comes a bit of the reason why this film is on the top 10 list, not just because of George Miller's direction, but because of Chris fucking Hemsworth.
adorable. I'm afraid for you, sweetheart, really afraid. Because Big Jilly here is going to scoop you out both ends, mush it up and feed it back to you. That ain't nothing compared to what Mr. Norton here is dreaming of doing to you. Because Mr. Norton really hates big shots. Then there's Mr. Harley, Mr. Davison, Rizdale Powell, and 1,000 other mad bastards coming after you, and there ain't nothing I can do to stop them.
The scope again here. This is a better film than Fury Road. I know that a lot of you're throwing things at your tablet, at your computer. If you're watching on a giant television, you are angry. But I'm here to tell you Furiosa is a better film because the scope is larger, the story is more interesting, and Chris Hemsworth. I can't believe Hemsworth is not showing up more in the supporting race. I would nominate the shit out of him if I had 5 spots. He's getting in there. I don't care what, because it's a big supporting role, huge. And he delivers. He's chewing up the scenery. He's perfect. He looks great. He's just, Chris Hemsworth doesn't get enough love for a comedic performance. And also with the manic bad guy energy that he brings as well. Listen, Hemsworth deserves more love, as does Furiosa. The expansion of the world, 100% friendly pup, exactly. The scope of this film is larger than Fury Road, right? Because the story is bigger. And because of that, this is a better film. And for everyone who doesn't agree or doesn't understand that, I want you to know this is why MMT plants the flag and we are number 1. Nobody can contend. Because we're not playing that it's a girl boss, therefore the film's bad, right? Which is just, man, again, I don't know why you watch the guy. Why do you watch that shit? It's anyone who does that is instantly disqualified from reviewing anything in the future. Who cares? It's a Mad Max universe film. Get over it. Get over it. Furiosa, one of the best films of the year. Let's get to number 9 on our list. And now we're going to finally get to a film that is much more cinephilic and a film that a lot of you have not had a chance to see yet. But trust me when I say this, Ramel Ross is a name that you're going to need to know going forward because he announced his arrival with his feature debut. Number 9 is Nickel Boys.
Nana.
Elwood.
It's been a long wait for some good news.
Good news. Good news. Good news.
So what you need to know about this film as you watch is, and you can see all of the cinematography here, shot from a POV, right? From the protagonist's point of view. And that choice alone makes Nickel Boys far more interesting than if it were a traditional adaptation of a book that we see from virtually any other film. Now, initially, you might have a little bit of trouble adapting to this, but I promise you, by the end of Nickel Boys, you will say to yourself, we are looking at a future great filmmaker, very Malickian throughout this thing. And it has just a real beautiful spirituality to it. And for that, Nickel Boys is our number 9 film. When it comes to your city, support it, because these are the kind of films that need your box office support so that an Amazon MGM gives us more films like Nickel Boys in theaters. And we're very thankful this was not a Netflix film because we got to see it at AMC, Regal, and wherever you go in the major chains here across this great country. Here comes number 8, and if Folie is on the stream right now, he is very much aware that the film at number 8 you would think would be higher than number 8. But it is a flawed film. But for my money, if I'm going to direct a film, I am going to make it look exactly like everybody on 3, we've only said it more than any channel in the history of YouTube. No, in going forward, no one will ever mention this film as much as we have. Ladies and gentlemen, number 8 is Asphalt City.
Wake up! Come on, move, let's go! What do we got? Excuse me, step aside. Let us get through. Let us do our work here. Cross. Come on. Excuse me. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, man.
You shot?
I got shot in my foot. I don't know what happened.
So this is the opening scene from Asphalt City, and what you see is everything that I have praised over and over and over with this film. We have not seen Sean Penn. Sean Penn was fantastic in this. Hopefully he'll show up here in a second. But when you look at this film, it's so grounded. There's a ton of street casting in this film, right? I think that gentleman there on the ground, right, the victim. A lot of this is street casting, and when you get that, it's kind of like Good Time, right? You go back and you watch that. The Safdies like to bring in somebody who's never really been in front of a camera, and it adds to the realism. This film feels like gritty ass, dirty ass, Bronx, New York City, paramedic out there trying to save these people amongst the dregs of society. And I cannot impress upon you enough the level of brilliance in direction and look of this film. I love aspect ratio on this. I love the coloring of this film. I love everything about how this film looks and breathes. Now, why is it not higher than number 8? Because I do believe from a screenplay perspective, what happens to Penn's character over the length of the film is not exactly there's Penn. Man, let me tell you, Sean Penn, he should have been in the mix for a best supporting. I would put him as supporting here because that would be attainable. The fact that, again, critics groups do not watch Asphalt City, not recognize that this film deserves to be in a lot more top 10 lists than just mine. I'm like the only person who has this film in the top 10. That doesn't make me wrong. It makes me the only one who's right. And Sean Penn is brilliant in this. It was great to see him back, and he deserves to be in more projects that matter. Top 10 film. Gone Girl, even though Gone Girl's producing tonight, he's not just saying this, the grittiness and the direction. This is 100% grounded, gritty shit. I mean, I'll tell you, you just don't get more lived in than Asphalt City. I saw it twice in theaters. I was probably the only person to even see it more than once for sure. But, I mean, this is how much I was impacted when I first watched it. I got to see this again, and I'm glad I did. By far, one of the best films of the year. Asphalt City. Now, let's move on to get ready. This is where everyone's going to start to go, why are you doing this, Weber? It's my channel. I'll do what I damn well want. And that means number 7 is pure cinema. Whether you liked what Todd Phillips did to Joker or not, it doesn't matter, because Joker Folie is our number 7 film of 2024.
If they could see me now, that little gang of mine. I'm looking at your smile and it's a healthy sign.
So there they are breaking out of Arkham Asylum. What you have to love about what Todd Phillips does here, whether you listen, you may have a problem with the screenplay, and I'm not going to say that you can't, but what I'm going to tell you is, from a film-making perspective, this is cinema. This looks great. This sounds great. And I understand a lot of you didn't like the musical aspects. So be it. It's not a pure musical. This film is criminally underrated, and I will be vindicated over time. And I think even Tarantino said that, right? A lot of these big filmmakers are coming in saying, what are you doing here? This is great. And I know, oh, well, they killed him. Who cares? Get over it. There's not going to be a Joker 3. I think it's brilliant because remember, his whole life is a comedy, right? In tragedy. And now look what happens at the end. He goes from being the cult icon to getting shanked in prison. I love it. I love a film that does this to me at the end. Completely subverts expectations and kills him. That's brilliant. I'm sorry. I will always like a decision like that because I'm not married to the fact that Arthur has to live and we have a Joker 3. A lot of you, exactly. Well, oh my God, jerk, seriously? People are saying I don't like, I just told you what they did. But you got to watch the film. If you don't recognize, remember, I say this to a lot of people, and I mean it here. Please listen. If you can't recognize great direction when you watch Joker Folie, Deux, this is not a me problem. This is a you problem, and you've got to get better educated, whatever that is. You've got to get better educated. You cannot sit here and blame me for saying that this is great cinema and you don't recognize it. That's your problem. I can't help you, man. It's right in front of you. Joker Folie, Deux is our number 7 film. Let's get ready for number 6, another slice of cinema. All these films are cinema, right? Especially when we start playing at the top of the top 6. We're talking about some films cinematically that are going to wow you. And this film, without question, is one of those. And can I tell you that when I watched this scene in Dolby, I was blown away by this with the Reznor Ross score. Number 6 is Challengers.
Game, Swide. Final set, tiebreak.
It's all built to this moment, and then you have this pump and club score going on from the masters, Reznor Ross. The direction by Luca, one of the best of the year, right? All these films are very well directed. Obviously, that's my number 1 criteria, right? And when you watch Challengers, the nonlinear storytelling, the edits, and certainly the score is the cherry on top, the thing that propels it to that next level. But Luca, between this and Queer, I would suggest you might be the director of the year with those 2 films. Queer, I have some issues with, but directorially, one of the strongest efforts of the year and most interesting. Luca continues to operate in a space that very few directors can, and Challengers is proof again of that here tonight as we count down our top 10 films of 2024. And this is the score of the year. No question. I mean, listen, you're talking about a Reznor Ross. You're talking about a Johnny Greenwood. You're talking about a Michael Levi, Ludwig Göransson. There's only so many really, truly great composers in the space. And Reznor Ross, if I was asking someone to score my film, I'm going to go to them. Please. Pretty please. And they're very choosy, and they should be, because they shouldn't be doing work for a film that is not great. They love Luca clearly because they've done the last 3 Luca films. So they are big fans, as are we, of Luca. Get ready for number 5. Now, film number 5 is not quite as cinematic as the rest of these films we've talked about here tonight, but from a screenplay perspective, there is no stronger singular screenplay this year than A Real Pain. And the performance of 2024 that I believe is the strongest, whether it's lead or supporting. It's very hard to not tell you that Kieran Culkin is right at the top of that list. Here's a taste of A Real Pain.
No, if you've got time, we could swing by Underground. It is fascinating. I just think it's a bit overhyped, personally. The big hitter is the Grodska Gate, you know.
Oh, is the gate still?
Yo, dude, I think we should move.
What?
I think you should move to another train car.
What do you mean?
You don't feel weird being in a first-class car?
No, we paid
No?
for it. It's not hurting anybody. No.
Dude, we are Jews on a train in Poland. Fucking think about it.
Benji? Benji?
Yeah.
You're all right up there.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, you know, it's, to be fair, fascinating.
No, I mean, I just feel like, sorry.
Okay.
Is anyone else, like, feeling this right now?
Feeling what?
Like this creepy feeling that, like, you know, we're like royalty on this train? I mean, does no one else see the irony here?
Jesus.
Like eating fancy food and sitting up here when 80 years ago we would have been herded into the backs of these fucking things like cattle.
Okay, Benji, I don't think anybody here wants to hear that right now.
Okay, why not? Why doesn't anyone want to hear it?
Because it's depressing.
Okay,
man.
Depressing?
Okay. You're raising an interesting sensitivity here. It does sometimes.
You can
come up
see,
on
I mean,
these tours,
it takes
staying
like
in
5
fancy
seconds
hotels,
of
eating
Kieran
fancy food,
Culkin
at the same time, you're looking
to
back
see what
at
I'm
the
talking about, right?
horrors of
Manic
family.
Live Wire. He plays this depressed cousin of Jesse Eisenberg. And Eisenberg, listen, not the flashiest of direction here, but again, it goes back to the screenplay from Eisenberg and the two of them and them growing up with, were they brothers or they cousins? I've had too many beers. I actually have had 3 beers tonight, so I'm not going to lie to you. I can't quite recall if they're brothers or cousins, but I do know that they both have memories of grandma. And when you talk about Kieran Culkin in this role, he has to play this super up and down, right? Manic, who is fascinating to watch the wheels spin. You can see the wheels spin inside of him as he's going. And it is fascinating to watch this unfold, especially with that man right there at this level, playing at certainly an Oscar-winning level in A Real Pain. Unfortunately, this film did not do well at the box office. It's a real shame because these are the kind of films that Hollywood will not be making much longer if you do not support them at the box office, okay? We've talked about a lot of films that did very well. Dune 2, Joker didn't. We look at, obviously, Deadpool, Wolverine. These are films that did great at the box office, but some of these films, Asphalt City made like nothing. Real Pain was not a hit. When you look at these films, Challengers did okay, but you really got to support these films or we're not going to get them anymore. It's vitally important that you get out there and you don't wait for these things to stream on Max. And I think he will, Mud Style. Listen, it's going to be very hard to beat him in supporting. It's one of the best performances of the year, period. End of discussion. Number 4 on this list, I just watched the other day. This is the newest entry to the top 10. I wanted to get it in. I'm glad I did. I had a feeling that I would love it. It is A24's best film of the year. No question whatsoever about that. One of the worst years they've ever had as a studio. It is the 3.5 hour long The Brutalist.
Gosh. There's a lot. What?
These are yours, yes?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
Tell me, why is an accomplished foreign architect shoveling coal here in Philadelphia?
I'm afraid it is not so simple.
And you can hear underneath the score that gives Reznor Ross some competition. The Brutalist score is perfect composition for the movie. And when you watch The Brutalist, within seconds, you know that it is some elite work, okay? But it's also Brady Corbet. This is an American epic This has so much going for it from a cinematography standpoint. Obviously, you hear the score. You've got Adrian Brody, who should, without question, win Best Actor. That'd give him 2. Pianist, and now this. And when The Brutalist opens, because I know A24 is putting this thing on very limited basis to start, because it's not going to be a film that's going to appeal to a wide mainstream audience at 3.5 hours long with an intermission. But I'm here to say, there's the score. Holy shit, right there. That's it. Did you hear it? The rise? Trust me. This is a great film to watch just for listening to the importance of score, if you just want to go on that level, because it's perfect in its impression on the film. So when you look at Courbet shooting this thing in VistaVision, the 70 millimeter, the look of this thing, right? A version of 70 millimeter. You look at this and it is just pure cinema. Screenplay wise, second half is not as strong as the first, but I think overall the message of, and this is going to sound strange because you're told otherwise, it's not the journey, it's the destination, right? It's usually the other way around. In this case, you'll understand why when you get to the end of The Brutalist, by far one of the best films of the year. Glad I got it in. And when it opens with your city in the near future, next couple of weeks here into 2025, you need to make an appointment with this film. I also mentioned when we talked about this the other night with The Brutalist, at 3.5 hours long, you need to be in the right headspace. We discuss this often on MMT. If you're not ready for what a director's about ready to present to you, you need to get yourself in the right mode, in the right mindset to intake these films. If you do not, then you're doing a disservice to the director, and you're not going to be reliable from an evaluation standpoint, from a recommendation standpoint. And that's why very often I take multiple days off and I make sure I'm ready for the next film. I don't often like to see film after film after film. I rarely, if ever, see more than one film in one day. I've talked about that many times. But even back to back, I need basically a 48-hour refractory period where I can just digest it and then regenerate and then get ready for the next. And The Brutalist is going to demand a lot of attention, a lot of patience, but if you do, it will reward you with one of the best films of 2024. Yes, bye-bye Bosworth. I mean, once you see it, it's very hard to think anybody else has a chance. Go back to Culkin and you go to Brody. And those are your two that should be winning actor and supporting. I've seen everything but Emilia Perez because that is a Netflix movie. As you guys know, I do not watch Netflix movies. It's not at the AMC or the Regal. And as such, I will not discuss their films. They are insignificant in the world of cinema, 100%. It's a disservice to even pay attention to their work. And until they join every other studio by putting their films in theaters legitimately, we will not discuss Netflix. That's why you're not hearing me talk about Emilia Perez. I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it. And you can't make me watch it. Number 3. Again, one of the best directed films of the year. I didn't expect to love this film as much as I did because I had problems with the lead. I said many times on this stream that I'm not sold on Timothée Chalamet. I see him in things like Wonka, and I go, he's holding back. He's not really giving me that full thrust of manic energy that you need in that role. Well, I can tell you this. Chalamet was ready to tackle Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. Here's a scene from the number 3 film on MMT's list of the best films of 2024. This is A Complete Unknown.
How you doing?
Good.
Nice
Great to see you.
How you doing? Like me around the world in 80 days, huh?
It's a magic carpet. It's full of wonder. Full of wonder.
This is Becca, by the way.
Nice to meet you. This is my wife, Toshi.
Nice to meet you. I absolutely love your music. I'm such a big fan, Mr. Seeger.
Pete. Harold is putting the lean on you there, trying to get you to play.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Well, don't hold it against them. It's for a good cause. Want to use this beauty?
They always keep it handy, don't you? He's like a gunfighter with a six-gun. He's keeping it close.
Oh, the time will come up when the winds will stop and the breeze will cease to be breathing. Like the stillness in the wind for the hurricane begins. The hour that the ship comes in. And the seas will split.
And you can hear Chalamet sing there. He really nails Dylan, did a great job. I didn't know if he was going to lip sync it or if he's going to sing it. Was he going to go and do a Rami Malek? Or was he going to do a Taron Egerton? He did an Egerton, and he sang, and he more than acquits himself. This is one of the best roles of the year, the best I've ever seen Chalamet. You know, when you look at him from a performance standpoint, this is clearly a career high in A Complete Unknown. And it really gets back to what we always discuss here. My number one evaluation of any film is always going to be the strength of direction. The look and feel, the sound, everything about this film, production design, James Mangold nails, okay? We've been critical of Mangold in the past. We're going to forget Dial of Disaster, pretend it never existed, and we're going to tell you that Complete Unknown is, no question, no doubt, one of the best films of the year, one of the best directorial efforts of the year, and I can tell you this, he better be on the list of the best directors. I know he's not on a lot of lists. I'm just telling you that Mangold 1000% deserves to be on the list with his delivery of A Complete Unknown. Also, very important, if you've not seen this film yet, get out, support it. It's doing well in the Christmas corridor right now. You've got time off. Go see it. See it in the biggest, loudest, best sounding auditorium you can. Unfortunately, it's not in IMAX. It's not in Dolby because it's taken by the Lion King, Mufasa. But if you can see it in any theater that has tremendous sound, you need to, because it's dialed in. When I saw it in IMAX, it was the best I've ever heard any film in that theater. And I've seen at least 75 to 100 films in that IMAX at Burbank. Nothing has sounded better than A Complete Unknown. So it better be very much in serious consideration for sound at the Oscars. I believe it's coming back to IMAX this weekend. If that's the case, Johnny, I'm thrilled. If it is, I'm going to go see it again, and you should too. Because if you haven't seen it yet, this is your chance to go see one of the greatest films of the year and one of the best directorial efforts of 2024. Number two is why I started this channel over 2 years ago now, almost coming up on 3 years. I wanted to discuss films that no one else is talking about to make you go out of your way to watch something that could possibly blow you away, like I was by our number two film. I saw this at the AMC 8 in Burbank, which is the mall theater of the 3 AMC complex here in Burbank. It was a small screening room, and I was not prepared for what I was shown in a film that will gut you and emotionally devastate you and is depressing as hell. But I believe that in years to come, there will be a conversation about handling the undead as a horror masterpiece. Here's a taste of the film. I mean, you obviously can feel the weight of what you're watching. This is not a film to be watching on a sunny, bright day at 1 PM. You're looking to be uplifted. No. This is a midnight film. This is a film that, as a parent, you will be devastated by, because she is seeing her son who passed away years ago, and she's been just absolutely floored with grief since, and all of a sudden he's back because there's a virus in the world that's bringing the dead back to life, but not like they were before. Like a zombie version, as you've seen in so many zombie films. This is not a zombie film, though, guys. This is a very dark drama. And the moments of dread and despair are dripping all over this film. And I am one of the only people who is championing this at all this year. I looked at a lot of top 10 lists just to see where everyone else stood. No one had this. And the fact that no one has this in their top 10 tells me that we're doing it right again. And we are all alone, and we will fly the flag as much as possible when we can champion a film as strong as Handling the Undead. Check it out late at night, maybe even tonight, to ring in the new year. We're almost there. We're 2 minutes away. Let's get ready to ring in the new year with our number. This is perfectly timed. I didn't even mean for this to happen, but I figured maybe I'd be lucky enough to have it happen right now live on YouTube, on X right now. Let's have a look and see if we can go to Times Square live and see the crowd out there at 8:59 here in Los Angeles. Here it is, the countdown. Let's go live there. As soon as I get through this ad, we will go live to New York City. Live. As always, MMT. Here it is. This is from CBS News. Let's have a look. 18 seconds to go. Let me switch it over, and we are going live. You want proof that we do these things live? Here it is. There's the ball. It's coming down here. 9, 8, 7. Sponsored by Kia. 6, 5, 4, 3. Where's Dick Clark? 2, 1. Happy 2025, everybody. Let's hope for a better year in 2025 than we had in 2024. At least we're talking about good films here. By the way, I heard it was pouring in New York City. All those poor souls out there like, yeah, we're here. We finally made it. They get soaked. They're drenched by the downpour that hit the greater Manhattan area, I think, a few hours ago. But there they are, enjoying the new year. That means it's time for our number one film of 2024, and we get ready for 2025. Start spreading the news. It's time for number one. You probably guessed it now. What do you think it is? Come in with your comments right now. What do you think the number one film is? This is almost as bad as me singing the Mufasa song the other night, but it is what it is here tonight. It is the ultimate New Year's movie, ladies and gentlemen. Our number one film of 2024. And let's just kick it off with the real deal. Let's go back to the film and let's get the moment that we learn what is the substance. Turn up your speakers.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Younger, more beautiful, more perfect. One single injection unlocks your DNA, starting a new cellular division that will release another version of yourself. This is the substance. You are the Matrix. Everything comes from you, and everything is you. This is simply a better version of yourself. You just have to share. 1 week for one, and 1 week for the other. A perfect balance of 7 days each. The one and only thing not to forget. You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
Oh, great. I mean, It's just, I was in the theater again. I saw that at the 8. The 8's been very good to me this year. I saw Asphalt City there. I saw this and Handling the Undead. So this has been a clean sweep for the 8 in the mall. Thank you, AMC, for giving us these smaller films, because Substance actually turned out to be a big hit. But listen, when I'm watching this right here, right, how perfect is that? It sets up the world. It tells you the rules all in like a minute with thumping techno as we led here tonight, one of the best scores of the year. The fact that this was not shortlisted by the Academy tells you all you need to know. We are the new Academy. We are the new Academy, not the Academy. We are MMT, because we know what constitutes great filmmaking, and what we saw with The Substance is truly great. It is our number one film of the year. Without number one is The Substance. No, listen, Gone Girl, we can get into it a little bit here. We're done with our top 10. I'm going to talk about honorable mention in a second. Here's what I'll say. The last 40 minutes are completely batshit out there, okay? But remember, it's like I talked about when I say Parasite. When I watched Parasite for the first time, it was very early on. It had not opened yet. They screened it. I went to it. And I remember just absolutely, I'll never forget, when that film takes its violent turn at the end at the party, I go, I don't like this. This is not where I want to go. And then at the end, you've got Dad in the house, and I'm like, oh, God, that's good. This is what happened with The Substance, right? I'm like, okay, this is too much. And then we have Crawling to the Star, and I go, oh my God, that's good. That's so good. So I'm not going to tell you I didn't have a little bit of a roller coaster ride here, but ultimately the finish makes it the number one film of 2024. This is cinema, right? Like so many of the films that are on our list. Cinema. I want to watch more cinema and less Planet of the Apes. I want to watch more films that challenge me, that do weird things, that still work. You can't just be weird for the sake of being weird, or it's not going to work. I don't know about this, Rob, but I can tell you this. You go back and you look at what happened with The Whale. A similar thing could occur here. This has more box office than The Whale. More people are talking about this than The Whale. And look what happened to Brendan Fraser. So could she? I mean, listen, all bets are off, okay? Netflix is going to try like hell to make sure one of their Amelia Perez gets something, okay? So that could be an issue. I will tell you this, as a voter in the Academy, which I'm not, but if I were, if they were smart and brought me in, I would change a lot of shit. But here's the deal. I would never vote for a Netflix film ever again until they get full theatrical. In fact, I'd actually just make that very clear. I would send an email to Netflix. I'm as a voting member, I will never vote for one of your films until you have it at AMC Regal Cinemark. Until you do, we're not going to do this. Do you understand? So, you know, unfortunately, we just have people that obviously don't seem to give a shit. So they allow Netflix to do whatever they want and to win awards, and even though they've never won the big prize, nor should they. Let's talk about the honorable mention here as we continue just a little bit longer on this New Year's Eve / 2025 stream. If you're in New York, if you're in LA, we still have a couple hours, 3 hours to go. Honorable mention here, a number of films that I really liked that were close, but they just missed out. That's not to tell you that you shouldn't watch these films. September 5th was very close to getting in. From an editing standpoint, one of the best films of the year. I really like that film. Blink Twice. Listen, there's a part of me that's kind of pissed I didn't put it in the list, but I got to tell you, Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut blew me away. One of the best films of the year. Blink Twice is there. Femme, very small film, and McKay is lights out in that film. You got to watch that. Great film. National Anthem, another film I've been trumpeting throughout the year. Missed out, but from a filmmaking perspective, really love that. Wicked, listen, for what it is, what Chu did with that film, it's a great adaptation of the stage musical, and part 2 should be as entertaining as 1. Although I got to tell you, with the play, what's interesting with Wicked is, I remember when I saw that play in Orlando when the touring company came through, the first half ends on that crescendo, which of course part 1 does. That's the highest point. So for Chu to end up, I mean, that's how it felt for me. Okay. So if the movie can somehow bring it back, that's the apex of the film, not just the split point. It's also the apex. So if you're going to have part 2 end I remember how it ends, but I'm just wondering how he's going to pull that off because that is a little bit of a challenge. Skincare film I really like, direction wise, grounded, LA. Screenplay has a few issues, but I still recommend Skincare. It's IFC's best film of the year. And then Love Lies Bleeding. Rose Glass follows up Saint Maud with another lights out directorial effort, and I can't wait to see what she has next. You know, if you were to ask me who are directors that you want to see their next film, what's funny is, Weber hates female directors. You ready for my list? Rose Glass, okay? I want Charlotte Wells, and I want Forja. I want there's three women. Wait, what? What's going on here? What? Film Twitter's like, whoa, you guys are idiots. Okay, Film Twitter, you are truly the dumbest sacks of shit on the planet. So please don't even come into my space. What I do is certainly a hell of a lot more advanced than anything you'll ever do. But here's what I'll tell you is the fact that I have 3 women as my 3, I can't wait to see what they do next. There you go. And it's not because they're women. It's because they earned that distinction. We never on MMT have ever raved about a film because it's a female director, it's a minority director, it's a white director. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the film good? Is it great? Is it have elite stuff across the board? Are the elements of the film at a level that you go, my God, I can't wait to see what's next? That's what we're looking for. It has nothing to do with virtue signaling bullshit of let's prop up a female director. Look, if I had my choice, I'd have a female director in there this year. But if it ended up being 5 white guys for my best director, so be it. That's what it is, man. It's merit. Okay. So I don't want to play that game. We're never going to play that. Just so you know, if you're just new to the channel, I'm just laying you out how this works. I don't operate in that space. I'm not woke. I'm not anti-woke. I'm not either. And no one else can do live like we just did. We just did the entire stream in 52 minutes with clips. Me making maybe 1 stumble. That's not bad, okay? Maybe 2. I told you guys, I had 3 of these. This is rare. This is a great beer. I just started drinking. It's Corona Premier, 90 calories. They do not sponsor the stream, but I'm here to tell you I enjoy it. So if I'm it's New Year's Eve. Allow me to have my 3 beers, okay? But we still did a stream and I wasn't like slurring. I think this is really good. All right, Cope and comments on here on this. No, Romulus was another film I really liked. Listen, just because it's not here doesn't mean I hated it. It just means it didn't quite crack the list. I think from, again, a directorial standpoint, Romulus is one of the best films of the year, and Alvarez is a director that we really like to watch in that space. He's very talented. The Evil Dead was certainly better than Evil Dead Rise, his version. So you look at a director that we definitely will be checking out in the future, it is Alvarez. But when you look at any of these films, it's always going to come back to direction, right? Even A Real Pain, which is not flashy, it is the direction that film needed. You know, could it be a little bit, pushed here or there, or make it a little bit different? Yes, probably, but that's not Eisenberg style. So there's nothing wrong with that as long as the screenplay is working. I just am looking for, whenever I watch a film, to be really motivated by watching the directorial choices that are unique, that work, obviously, and then just at the end of the day, deliver something to me, the moviegoer, as this is a very singular directorial choice. And Luca does that. And, so many directors do, but Luca this year, I think, had done it twice with both Queer and with Challengers, because if you give those to 2 other directors, you're not getting the same film. And that's what we talked about, right? This is not cut and paste director. This is very singular directorial talent. Blink Twice did a phenomenal editing. Johnny, 100%. Listen, across the board, that is a great film. It looks good. It sounds good. I like the performances. I even like the twist, even though people say, oh, it's a man-hating movie. Too bad. I don't care. Listen, if a film has an agenda, listen, I understand for the anti-woke crowd out there. I get it. I understand. But ultimately, if the agenda is part of the DNA of the film, I don't really have a problem with it, because I'm a grown adult. I don't need to be told this is an agenda. I can figure that out on my own. I don't have to say what I'm being told is 100% what I believe or what's right. So I'm not going to really grade a film higher or lower based on wokeness. I'm not one of these channels. Look at Gore's gone off the deep end, right? We have way more credibility and we will continue to have more and more credibility because we have the ability to remain objective within the world of, oh my God, was one of these things a little too woke? So, well, listen, yes, there's times of that, but it's not going to be the number one factor of why I raise a film up or down, right? People saw Tenet in 2024. Yeah, well, listen, I mean, I only championed that movie since 2022. One? Was it one or was it two? It was one, wasn't it? When I drove to Vegas. I mean, Tenet is cinema, clearly. Screenplay is kind of a mess. But remember, if you're going to the movies, I want to be blown away by the big screen, by the score, cinematography, and it feels like an insane James Bond movie, right? And to see it again in IMAX here at Universal 70 millimeter this year, that was a blessing because we got to see it in Vegas when it first came out and we were told we couldn't go to movies. I'm not going to go into the whole COVID thing tonight. I promised I won't. I'm just going to tell you, yeah, we were told we couldn't go because everyone will die if you go. But other than that, Tenet is really filmmaking from Nolan that is exceptional, as you'd expect. I mean, he's one of our best technical filmmakers. If you were to ask me what his best film is, it's clearly Interstellar because of the emotional resonance, right? So many times the emotion is not attached to, maybe we can talk about Nolan, but I definitely want to talk about Eggers here. When you look at it, Eggers, you're just, it's cold, it's sterile. He's missing the emotion of a film, and it's happened in The Northman. It just happened in Nosferatu, The Witch, and certainly Lighthouse, obviously. I mean, that movie is just a goof. But when you watch his work, you're just not watching a director who is able to imbue the level of resonance from an emotional standpoint that you're looking for. And because of that, that's why Eggers films will always be downgraded by me, and I think he's one of the most overrated, if not the most overrated directors in all of Hollywood today. You chose the female directors because they have big fonts. Coach, stop. As you guys may or may not know, I love fonts. Okay, so if the wrong font appears in a movie, I'm going to get angry, as I did this year with. I told JT I was not. He knows on the stream, not a fan of the font. The font in Strange Darling, not a fan. But I like Strange Darling. Another film I'd recommend. It's not going to, it didn't make our list. But, listen, there's a lot of films this year that were bad. Okay. Go back and watch the worst of. I don't want to talk about those films ever again. They're dead and buried. But there's a lot of films, surprisingly, that were at least tolerable. So I think that this year, overall, still is a bad year. But I want to thank God for the late surge of films that were very good, such as A Great Unknown, Nickel Boys, and Brutalist. Those three come in the last week for me, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Not Sing Sing, not a great film. When you look at what else is in the Oscar contention, Conclave, no, that's not a top film. Two Popes is way better than Conclave. Across the board, not just because it deals with popes, it's a better film because it has some of the same elements. It's better. Two Popes is so much better. It's a Netflix film, but it's still better. When you look at some of the films that are being touted as great, there's films on my list that are way better. And I'd start with Joker 2. Joker 2 is certainly one of the best films of the year. And if you can't see that, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. What film are you looking forward to 2025? This is a great leeway, road into our next stream. Sunday night, you take a few nights off. It's Tuesday. Let's take a few nights and just chill because I've done multiple long streams and frankly, I'm exhausted. When you watch Sunday night, we're going to have the most anticipated films of 2025. That is Sunday night stream because this weekend's really nothing new. There's nothing amazing coming on. So as such, when you look at the stream, I got to figure out what can we do that's interesting on Sunday night. Let's discuss the most anticipated films of 2025 on that Sunday night stream, and we'll look into the future virtually every single month because it's all scheduled at this point. You're not going to find me raving about any Marvel movies. I mean, last year I wanted to see Deadpool Wolverine because I wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine. I want to see Jackman and Reynolds. Now I don't want to see Marvel. I don't care about Thundercats or whatever the hell, Thunderbolts. I don't care about Captain America. That film's not going to do well, by the way. Just watch. And I don't care about this. Like, Marvel's dead, okay? Except for Deadpool Wolverine, I do believe Marvel's in big trouble. The fact that Deadpool Wolverine was the next film in the barrel, right? And they pulled the trigger on it. They're lucky as hell because if that was anything but Deadpool Wolverine, Marvel could be on life support because Marvel's was the nadir, right? And then you come out of that with another film no one cares about. They were lucky as hell. And I think what Marvel needs to understand, and I'm sure if Feige is watching, I know a lot of people in Hollywood watch because they go, Weber just goes hard. Here's the reality. Feige, I'm going to tell you something. You know that if it were anything but Deadpool Wolverine, Marvel would have been fucked. And I think you're about ready to find out that when it's anything but Deadpool Wolverine, people are not going to care again. Just wait till that happens. It's going to happen. Felicity, thank you. I really appreciate that for the super chat and also just correspondence. I appreciate everybody who watches, enjoys the stream, because ultimately we started this. It's not about views, right? It's not about likes. It's not, first of all, if it was about like making money doing this, do you think I'd play half the clips? I would be demonetized. You understand, guys, whenever I play all these clips, so I played a clip from every movie, right? As soon as the stream is over, I am going to start getting notifications on YouTube saying, you have copyright this, copyright that. Guess what happens to the stream? I make zero from it, $0. But again, I'm doing this as fun. This is a side job. I enjoy doing this it's a hobby. You guys understand that ultimately only a few people make a shit ton of cash at this. There's a Jeremy Johns, there's a Chris Stuckman, there's very few. And the other people, if they get to there, you look at a Gore who's now making money. Why? Because now he's tribal. When he was trying to do some kind of independent film thing, nobody cared. Well, guess what? We're coming up slowly the way we're going to do it. We're not going to become something that we're not. This channel has been the same thing from day one. It'll continue up until the final day that we broadcast here live from the City of Angels. But I really appreciate you saying this. I consider your opinion. Happy New Year. Keep doing what you're doing. If you don't always agree, I'm always entertained. Thank you. And I know that there's times I go hard, right? I say these people are 100% wrong. If you can't see Joker 2, you're fucking retarded. I get it, right? I get it. That's harsh. But, and I hammered Sean Baker repeatedly. Yeah, I understand we go hard, but listen, this is a passionate debate. I'm not going to sit here and be Stuckman, milquetoast man. It's very boring, and I'm not going to do it. So if this is going to go hard, it's going to be too much, too edgy, too whatever, so be it. Don't care. I've railed about things and railed against things that most people in the space would never do, because you know why? We're not at all connected to the studios. I don't have anything I need from Disney, Universal, Sony, Paramount. If they don't invite me to their critic screening, I don't fucking care. I have more credibility in the space than 75% or more of the people in that screening, but I do not care, because I know ultimately the reason you don't want me there is because you know damn well I'm going to come out and blow your film up within seconds if I don't like it. Ask Netflix when I came out of the Gray Man. I'm not pulling the box up tonight. It's here somewhere. That's how I operate. I'm never going to hold back. So A24, I'm sorry I had to drag you all year. Sean Baker, I want to like your next movie, but Anora's definitely not it. No chance. This is the Tar of film evaluation channels. Thank you, Jerk. I really appreciate that. That actually means a lot as we see Tar here. Can I just tell you, tonight's kit is Atalanta. It's the Christmas kit. This was literally unboxed today, and it looks like a disco ball. Can you guys see this? It looks like kind of a disco ball, so I figured this is perfect for tonight's stream. These things are put together ahead of time. I think, what kit can I grab out of the closet? We have over 100 now, probably 200, and they're all over there, and I can say what's going to work for New Year's Eve, and this one just came in, and I go, this is a great one. Sold out within hours, so I was lucky to get one. And it's the player version. It's the only way we roll. Someone asked me, do you wear fakes? Hell no. None of the kits that you see here on MMT have ever been phonies. They're 100% Adidas, Nike, Puma, Joma, Macron. Who else do we have that are small? Kuka, who's a small Mexican brand. Spirelli. I have all of the they're all from the source. If I can't get a real one, I don't want it. Like, I'm not going to get it. Like, I could see like a perfect looking kit and I'm like, is that fake? I'm not buying it. Is it real? Oh, I need to have that. I really need it. Look, it feels so good. It feels so good. And that's the other part that's kind of nice is when you go to the gym, and you guys know, we'll talk a little bit about that in the new year with the MMT Fit. Here's what I'll tell you. When you get in shape, you want to wear the kits because you feel like I'm going to play a game. You're like, I feel good in this. It fits me. I feel good. A couple more comments and we're out of here. Ohio State, Oregon prediction. I was going to go to the Rose Bowl. So, guys, I was thinking about going tomorrow to the Rose Bowl. It's about 15 minutes away. But I'm thinking, I know this is like heresy for the Ohio State fans. I think I might go see it at a bar because, listen, here's the reality. I don't know how many of you ever gone to a game. It's a pain in the ass. First of all, you got to get there, find a parking spot. That's going to be like $50-$70 if I find a spot. Otherwise, I have to park on the street and walk like 2 miles down to the Rose Bowl. Then I have to find a seat for a reasonable price, which, by the way, prices are dropping, so that's good. Then I have to climb probably to the top because I'll be at the top of the Rose Bowl watching Ohio State. I can't really see from the end zone. And I'm like, or would I rather be at a bar with a bunch of Ohio State fans drinking, eating pizza, and watching replays? I'm like, I mean, I went to the Ohio State game at the Shoe this year, so I've kind of already done the bucket list for 2024. So I probably will just watch in a bar tomorrow. I know it's like, wow, you're like 10 minutes away. Why don't you go? Because I'm just want to be lazy. Is it okay? Is that okay? I want to drink a couple beers and not worry. I mean, at the game, a couple beers would cost me like $40, right? It's at least 10 to 15. At least the Rose Bowl's probably 15 a beer. That's $30. And then a shitty hot dog's probably 10. So there's 40 and then whatever else. And then it's like 4 hours. I'm just going to just do it the easy way. Any other comments here on this New Year's Eve? By the way, if you're in 2024, again, happy 2025. Happy New Year. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm going to say as we get ready to wrap this thing here on this New Year's Eve, it's always a pleasure to come on here, whether you agree or disagree, like Felicity says, at least you're entertained. That's what we try to do. I think that nobody in the space is better, certainly as a one-man operation, than what we do here, because we're objective, we're fearless, we have some talent, and we have cool football kits, and we have some awesome FYC screeners over my shoulders, and we don't give a shit about what other people think of us. And I think that combination is incredibly rare. And as such, will continue to ascend in 2025. Hopefully the movies are better. Although, again, drawing your attention back to the list that we have, I'm very confident in saying that you will not go wrong watching one of those films. Even if you hate Joker Folie, go watch it again and watch it for what I told you from a cinematic standpoint. Happy New Year, Dieter. Thank you. Warden Weber, news on scene. Speak no evil. Listen. I promise, because I know we talked about this in the super chat, and I know I owe you that viewing. I wanted to watch it over the holidays. The holidays are not over. Okay, we still have a few more days. The Christmas corridor is in effect. I will watch it. But I got to give me like tomorrow. I'm going to watch Ohio State. Maybe Friday. I don't even know if I'm going to watch Baby Girl. Maybe if I do see Baby Girl, I'll see it Friday or Saturday, and then I'll go and do the reaction on Sunday along with the most anticipated. We'll do Baby Girl. I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen it. Thank you, Kim. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys again for the super chats, because ultimately, like I said, all of these streams get demonetized. The second that they go up into the server starts to look, the AI goes, wait a second, he's playing Dune, Substance, he played Joker, he played Handling the Undead. They don't care. I don't think Neon's going to care about that. But all the big studios were like, you can't do that. You're not allowed. I'm like, what am I? I'm talking about your movies in a glowing light. Why can't I play your? So if they say I can't, I'm still going to do it. So that's what you get here on MMT. We are going to do things the other channels won't do. And you know why they won't do it? Because they'll get demonetized. I don't care. I want to present a fun stream, an engaging stream, and entertaining and informative, all of that stuff. And if that means we play videos and play songs, then that is what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, the stream's just about over. But before we go, I do want to play a little bit more of the Substance. I'm going to take me off, and I'm going to play the song from the Substance, one more time from start to finish. This is what gets me in trouble, but I don't care. Let's hit stop and let's just start again. You guys ready? Just like we started tonight. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful 2025. I'll see you back here on Sunday. MMT for life. Substance, #1 film of 2024. Kick it. As the music plays, I will go through the top 10 list one more time. Folie, no, you're not. Red one was not. Get out of here. Folie, stop. Number 10, Deadpool and Wolverine. Also number 10, Dune Part 2. Also number 10, our third number 10, Furiosa, followed by number 9, Nickel Boys, 8, Asphalt City, 7, Joker Folie, 6, Challengers, 5, A Real Pain, 4, The Brutalist, 3, A Complete Unknown, 2, Handling the Undead, and our number 1 film of 2024. How perfect is that? The drop. It's The Substance. Peace out. See you back here Sunday. Happy 2025.